Good morning. Um, so, welcome to the stream of Friday, August 29th. Today, I will be building an image gallery. So today we're going to build an image gallery and do some image effects and then turn it into a lightbox. So let's get started. So this is our page with some images in it, and the idea here is we're going to be using a Lightbox web component that's part of Hot Effects. Hot Effects is our component library on HotPage. So you can see any of these images are clickable, and then we get this lightbox that pops up and you can flip through them. So the idea here is you copy this script, I copy it, and then all you have to do is add this attribute to the images, and then they become clickable and you can click through them. So let's see what this is. A page that's a little bit further down here, and I just copied it to get the images, and then I'm going to show you how it's built. So in this case we are we have the gallery, which is a flex box, and then each image is 30% of the browser height, and then I'm not sure what this is doing, something with an SVG. So what does this look like? Just haystacks, and that's it. So you can see that this, when right now I'm clicking it and nothing's happening, even though it's got the cursor like it is clickable. The way you get that cursor is cursor pointer. That's all you need to do. But to make it clickable, we need to do something else. So first, I wanted to try to do an image effect where you can zoom on the image when it hovers. So as you're hovering over these images, this happens on a lot of blogs. Let me see if I can find an example for you, because I saw this the other day, and I was thinking it's something I've always wanted to show people how to do, because it's pretty easy, but it's everywhere, and people tend to like it. Just copy this link. So there it was. So if you notice, every time I zoom on these images, or every time I hover on these images, it zooms it like just a little bit. Pretty subtle, but makes you want to click it. It makes you get excited about that image that you're hovering on. Just a little bit of interactivity. So how do you make these images zoom on hover? So this is our selector. I'm going to change this to be nested, and then I'm going to change it to be just for images. And the way you make things zoom is you do transform scale, and then we're going to do 1.1. So now they're all slightly bigger, but we want this on hover. So there you go. Now they're bigger. It's a little bit the effect is immediate, so you want to put a transition on it. So we're going to do transition, transform, 0.5 seconds, ease out. Ease out's a sort of a nice default because it starts fast and then slows down, which is when you're responding to someone's movement, like the hover, you want it to be immediate. If you did ease in out, it would start slow and end slow. But really, since someone is expecting something to happen, or something is happening when they are responding to their action, you want it to start fast. Still immediate, not being slow. So what did I do wrong here? Transform. This is on the gallery, not on the image. So we want that. So now when I do this, you see it takes a second to zoom in on it. Half a second, actually. Maybe a little third of a second would be a little bit better. And this is not ideal because they're actually changing size. What we want is the image to still be the same size, it just zooms in a little bit. So how do you do that? We got to wrap each one of these in a div. I'm going to say div, let's give it a class, image container. Boop, 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 boop. Adding each one. So many haystacks. Oops. All right, so, wow, we just lost all of the styles because this, now we're setting the height of the container because this is a child selector, so this is everything that's a direct child. So I'm going to set this, let's set the height on the image itself, and then cursor, pointer. So what this is now is image container. Let's see if that fixed it. There we go. So we still have the same problem, but at least now everything's wrapped. So if we do overflow hidden on the container, now it should be that nothing changes, and you can see just the image is zooming underneath of it, and it doesn't change size. All right. So we want to make this into an image gallery. So if we go to the Lightbox page, this is the script, and I'm going to add this script, and then this gives us a custom element, but the script works without any configuration. So this almost breaks the convention of how web components should work, because a web component, it's supposed to be in charge of its own, the DOM inside of it. And in this case, we are setting, the web component sets a global click handler. So if you click something with this attribute, it's going to add itself to the page. This is like sort of breaking the norms of what a web component should do, because a web component shouldn't start. It's in reality, this isn't even a web component. It just happens to be a web component that adds itself to the page for you. And it's modifying the body of your document, which is sort of a no-no, but whatever. the idea here was this needed to be, not needed, but I wanted it to be a zero configuration web component. So all you needed to do was add this attribute, and then the thing just works, and it works pretty good. All right, so all we need to do is add this attribute. Ooh. So the attribute, we go add attribute, not that one, this one, add attribute, hot effects lightbox slide. I'm going to do that for each image. Not styles. Attributes. There we go. So now when I click it, we get a lightbox. How about that? That was it. This is at the end. So now we're going back. So what can you do to customize this? You can change the style of the slide to make it, to bring it in, give it some margin. So we could add max height and max width on the image itself to make it, to give it a little bit of border around it. The next and previous buttons could be modified. The close button could be modified, and then the backdrop could be modified, which is right now it's a gray background, but you could make it purple or blue or whatever you want. And then you can also change the buttons. So in this one, strange. You could add captions. This page explains it all. So I think just for the purposes of illustration, I'm going to give this a little bit more space, so it's not quite, it doesn't fill the window entirely, and then I'm going to change the color of the background. So start out with oh, here it is. Hot effects lightbox part slide. That's actually the exact selector that we want. So if I do max height, let's do 100 VH is the height of the viewport, and then I'm going to do minus 100 pixels. That'll give us 50 pixels at the top and the bottom, 50 pixels at the top and 50 pixels at the bottom. And then in case it's the width that's constraining it, I'm going to give it maybe 40 pixels, 20 pixels on each side. And there you can see that now it's no longer so high, so it's no longer filling the viewport. It does seem like it's maybe too So in this case, it's the width that's constraining it, because this is a horizontal. And if I add and remove this rule, then you can see that it's changing it. Although the issue here is I set the max width to 100 VH. What we want is, you can see this is a lot more than 40 pixels. What we want is 100 VW for viewport width. And then you can see this is just 20 pixels on the side. That's actually what I wanted. And then to change the backdrop, we're going to do part backdrop, and then I can add background. Let's do just a color, but I'm going to pick it as some kind of red over here, and then drop down the transparency. And then you can see it's this sort of translucent pink color. How about that? So that is actually the entire stream. That's the only thing I wanted to do. This was how to build a Lightbox this was how to build an image gallery with the Lightbox on HotPage or in HTML with a custom element, the Hot Effects Lightbox element. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you next week.